Lyra was tired. She had been walking for many hours. The cold wind blew against her thin clothes, and she tried to keep her child warm. Tala was small and weak. Her skin, usually a gentle shade of silver blue, had lost its shine. Lyra held Tala close to her chest as she walked along the empty road. Her steps were slow, and her eyes were heavy. She was afraid, but she could not give up. Tala needed her. It was a human town. Lyra did not know much about humans. She had only learned a few words from listening to old radio signals. Her people did not visit human planets often, but now she had no choice. Their ship had crashed on this world 2 days ago. There was no more food left in their bags. Lyra had searched the wreckage, but the cold and the lack of food made everything harder. TL made a soft sound. It was not a word, but a cry. Lyra stopped and looked at her daughter. Tala's eyes were half open. Her small hands gripped Lyra's shirt. Lyra tried to smile. She wished she could give Tala hope, but there was nothing left. Lyra's own stomach was empty, but she did not care. She only cared about Tala. The town was quiet. Lyra saw houses with lights inside. Sometimes she saw faces looking out from behind windows. When she got close, the faces disappeared. Lyra did not blame them. She knew she looked strange to them. Her skin was the color of the moon. Her hair was long and pale, almost white. Her eyes were larger than a human's eyes. She wore clothes that were torn and dirty from the crash. She tried to speak to people she saw on the street. "Help, please," she said in broken English. Most people turned away. Some looked at her with fear. Some just walked faster, pulling their coats tight around them. Lyra did not have the strength to follow. She moved from house to house, hoping someone would listen. She knocked on a few doors, but no one opened them. Her legs shook. The cold was getting worse. Tala's body felt lighter in her arms. Lyra was scared. She was scared that Tala would not last much longer. She was scared that she would fail her daughter. She thought about her home, far away among the stars. She remembered the warm light of their kitchen and the sound of Tala laughing. That life felt very far away now. At last, Lyra saw a building that looked different. It had bright lights and big windows. Inside, she saw shelves with food. There were fruits, bread, and bottles of water. It was a grocery store. Lyra's heart began to beat faster. Maybe, she thought, someone inside would help. She walked to the door, holding Tala tightly. Her hand trembled as she tried to open the door. It was heavy, but she pushed hard. The door opened with a small noise. The warmth inside hit her face, and for a moment she felt hope. She stepped inside. The people inside stopped and stared. Lyra looked around, trying to find the right words. "Help," she whispered, her voice weak. "Child, hungry." No one moved. They looked at her with wide eyes. Lyra could see fear on their faces. She wanted to tell them she meant no harm, but her mind was too tired. She took a step forward and almost fell. She caught herself and tried again. A man near the counter stepped back. He pulled out his phone and whispered to someone. Lyra did not understand his words, but she knew she was not welcome. She turned, ready to leave, but her legs gave out. She fell to her knees, holding Tala tight. Lyra looked down at her child. Tala's breathing was slow. Lyra's tears fell onto Tala's face. She wiped them away and kissed her daughter's forehead. Lyra looked up at the people in the store. She tried one more time. "Please, food? Just a bite," she begged. No. One moved. Lyra's eyes closed. She was too weak to stand up again. She held Tala tighter, trying to give her all the warmth she had left. She did not know if anyone would help, but she hoped that someone, somewhere, would have a kind heart. Outside, snow began to fall. The cold wind pushed against the glass windows, but inside, everything was quiet. Lyra's body shook from hunger and fear. Tala did not cry anymore. She was too tired. Lyra whispered soft words to her child in her own language. The words were full of love and hope, even if she was not sure anyone would understand. She closed her eyes and rested her head on Tala's. She waited, holding on to her last bit of hope. In that moment, a young man named Ethan, who worked at the store, noticed the scene from the back room. He had heard the noise and came out to see what was happening. Ethan saw the alien mother and child on the floor. He did not feel fear like the others. He felt a pull in his heart. He remembered how his own mother had cared for him when he was sick. He could not ignore someone in need. Ethan walked quickly to Lyra and knelt beside her. He spoke softly, trying to show he was not a threat. "Are you okay?" he asked. Lyra opened her eyes slowly. She saw the kindness in Ethan's face. She tried to speak, but her voice was too weak. "Child. Hungry," she managed to say. Ethan nodded. He gently reached out and offered Lyra a small piece of bread from his pocket. Lyra took the bread with shaking hands. She broke it in half and gave the bigger piece to Tala. Tala ate slowly, her eyes still closed. Ethan looked at the people in the store. "She needs help," he said. "We can't just leave them like this." The people still watched, unsure and scared. Ethan ignored them. He helped Lyra and Tala to sit up. He brought them a bottle of water and more bread. Lyra's tears fell again, but this time they were tears of hope. Ethan promised to help. Lyra did not know if she could trust him, but she had no other choice. She held Tala close and thanked Ethan with a weak smile. She hoped things would get better. For now, they were safe, at least for a little while. The cold wind outside could not touch them in that moment. Inside, there was a small light of kindness, and Lyra held on to it with all her strength. Ethan stayed on the floor next to Lyra and Tala. The other people in the store still watched from a distance. Some whispered to each other. Some looked at their phones, but no one came closer. Ethan did not care. He could see that the mother and child were in real trouble. He wanted to help. He gave Lyra another small piece of bread. Lyra did not eat any of it herself. She put it into Tala's mouth carefully, making sure her daughter could chew and swallow. Tala was weak, but she tried her best. Her hands shook a little, but she finished the bread. Lyra brushed Tala's pale hair and whispered something gentle in her own language. Ethan noticed the way Lyra cared for her child. It made him think of his own family. Ethan stood up and looked at the store manager, a woman named Linda. She was nervous and did not want any trouble. Ethan spoke to her quietly so that Lyra and Tala could not hear. "They need help." "We can't send them out into the cold," Ethan said. Linda frowned. "I don't know, Ethan. People are scared. What if something goes wrong? What if they're dangerous?" "They're just hungry and tired. Look at them, that's all." Ethan pointed to the mother and child. Linda sighed. She was afraid of making the wrong choice. She did not want to get in trouble with the town mayor. But she saw the worry in Ethan's eyes. Finally, she nodded. "All right, but just for tonight. We'll let them stay in the store until morning. Then we'll call someone for help." Ethan thanked her and hurried back to Lyra. He motioned for her to follow him. Lyra looked at him with tired eyes, not sure if it was safe. But Ethan gave her a gentle smile, and she trusted him. He helped her and Tala to their feet. Tala leaned against her mother and tried to walk. Ethan took them to a small room at the back of the store. It was usually for workers to take breaks. There was a soft bench and a heater in the corner. Ethan turned on the heater so the room would be warm. He gave them a blanket and a pillow. Lyra wrapped Tala in the blanket and sat close to the heater. The warmth helped them relax a little. Ethan brought them water and a little fruit. He did not want to give them too much food at once because he knew their bodies were weak. He remembered what his grandmother used to say, "Give food slowly to those who are starving." Lyra tried to say thank you, but her words were soft and broken. She wished she could speak better, but Ethan understood her feeling. He sat on the floor across from them so they would not feel scared. Ethan pulled out his phone and sent a message to his friend Megan. Megan was a nurse at the small clinic in town. He told her about Lyra and Tala and asked if she could come help. Megan replied quickly. She said she would come as soon as she could. Ethan felt better knowing help was on the way. Tala fell asleep, holding her mother's hand. Lyra watched her child, her eyes full of worry and love. She did not sleep. She kept listening to the sounds outside, afraid someone might come and take them away. Ethan could see how worried she was. "It's okay," Ethan said softly. "You're safe here." Lyra nodded but did not smile. She was still scared. Ethan wished he could make her feel better, but he did not know how. He left the room for a moment to talk to Linda. In the main part of the store, Linda had called the mayor's office. She told them about the strange visitors and asked what to do. The person on the phone said to keep them inside and wait for the mayor's orders in the morning. Linda did not like the answer, but she agreed. Ethan overheard the call and felt worried. He knew the mayor did not like outsiders. The mayor always talked about keeping the town safe and never letting strangers cause problems. Ethan knew he might get in trouble, but he could not turn his back on Lyra and Tala. While Ethan was gone, Lyra tried to fix her small communicator. She took it out from her bag and looked at the wires inside. It was damaged in the crash. She pressed a few buttons, but nothing happened. She sighed and put it away. She did not want Tala to see her give up hope. A few minutes later, Megan arrived. She was young, with brown hair tied back and a caring face. She knocked on the break room door and came in slowly, so she would not scare Lyra and Tala. Ethan introduced Megan. She is a nurse. She helps people. She wants to help you and your child. Megan sat on the floor, not too close but not too far. She spoke slowly and gently. My name is Megan. I am here to help. Can I look at your child? Lyra hesitated, then nodded. She trusted Ethan and she hoped Megan would not hurt Tala. Megan gently checked Tala's forehead, looked at her eyes, and listened to her breathing. She saw that Tala was very weak and needed care. Megan asked Lyra a few questions, but Lyra could not answer most of them. She used her hands to show that Tala had not eaten in days. Megan thought for a moment. She needs special food, she said to Ethan. She is not human. Normal food might not help her enough. But right now, she needs water and rest. I will bring some things from the clinic. Ethan nodded and thanked Megan. Megan promised to come back soon. She gave Lyra a gentle smile and left the store. Ethan stayed with Lyra and Tala for the rest of the night. He talked to them in a calm voice, even if they did not understand every word. He wanted them to know they were not alone. In the morning, the town began to wake up. News of the alien mother and child spread fast. Some people wanted to help, but many were afraid. The mayor sent a message to the store, saying he would come soon to make a decision. Lyra woke up and looked at Tala. Her child was still weak, but seemed a little better. Lyra felt hope for the first time in days. She looked at Ethan and tried to smile. She was still scared, but now she had a little trust. Ethan brought them a small breakfast and told them to eat slowly. He knew today would be difficult. He hoped Megan would return before the mayor arrived. He wanted to protect Lyra and Tala, no matter what happened next. The town was about to change, and so were the lives of everyone inside it. Lyra sat quietly on the small bench, holding Tala close. The morning light came through the window, making the room warmer. Tala opened her eyes slowly and looked around. Her skin had a soft glow, but she still looked tired. Lyra smiled gently and stroked her daughter's hair. She felt a small hope growing inside her heart. Ethan was nearby, preparing some simple food. He brought a bowl with soft fruit and water. He hoped this would help Tala grow stronger. Lyra watched carefully as Tala took small bites. Each bite was slow and careful. Ethan knew Tala's body was weak and unfamiliar with earth food. He hoped the small steps would help. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Ethan went to open it. A woman with short brown hair and a white coat stood there. She looked serious but kind. It was Megan, the nurse. She came with a small bag filled with medicines and special supplies. Megan smiled at Lyra. Good morning, she said softly. I brought things to help your child. Lyra nodded and tried to say thank you, but her words came out broken. Megan understood and smiled kindly. Megan checked Tala again. She used a small device to measure Tala's heart and breathing. She is weak, but she is strong, Megan said. She needs care, but she can get better. Lyra felt tears in her eyes. She was grateful for the help, but also afraid. She did not know what would happen next. Just then, a loud voice came from the front of the store. Is someone here with the aliens? Ethan and Megan looked toward the door. A man in a dark suit entered. He was the mayor of the town. His face was hard and serious. Mayor, Ethan said calmly, they are not dangerous. They need help, The mayor looked at Lyra and Tala. This is not our world. We don't know them. We can't take risks with strangers. Lyra stood slowly, holding Tala tight. She looked at the mayor with tired eyes. She wanted to explain, but her English was not good. Ethan stepped forward. Mayor, this mother and child are alone and scared. Tala is very sick. We can help them, and it will not harm anyone. The mayor shook his head. I will decide what to do. This town belongs to us. The people in the store watched quietly. Some looked scared, some looked angry. Ethan and Megan stood strong. They knew they had to protect Lyra and Tala. Megan spoke softly to the mayor. I work at the clinic. I have seen many cases. They need medical care, not punishment. The mayor frowned. I will speak with the council. For now they must stay here. No one must leave. Lyra sat back down, her heart heavy. She held Tala close. Ethan and Megan stayed near her. They wanted her to feel safe. Later, Ethan whispered to Lyra, we will find a way. You are not alone. Lyra looked at him and smiled weakly. She wanted to believe him. That night, Ethan and Megan brought more food and water. Megan gave Tala medicine to help her sleep and heal. Lyra watched her child and prayed for strength. Outside, the town was quiet, but inside the small room, hope was growing. Ethan thought about the future. He knew the mayor's rules could hurt Lyra and Tala. He decided he would fight to protect them. Lyra held Tala tight and dreamed of a day when her child would run and laugh again. She believed that day would come. For now, they had each other and the kindness of strangers, and that was enough to keep hope alive. ChatGPT said Lyra sat quietly on the bench, holding Tala close. The small room felt warm, but Lyra still shivered from the cold outside and from worry. Tala's breathing was steady now, and she had eaten a little more. Lyra's heart felt lighter, but she knew the hard part was still ahead. Ethan sat nearby, watching the door. He did not want anyone to come without warning. He knew the mayor's men could arrive at any moment. Ethan had made a promise to protect Lyra and Tala, and he was ready to keep it. Megan was busy packing some medical supplies into a small bag. She had been to the clinic and brought special nutrients and medicines for Tala. The clinic had nothing exactly like what Tala needed, but Megan hoped it would help. She understood that Tala's body was very different from a human's. We have to be careful, Megan said softly to Ethan. If anyone finds out we are hiding them, there could be trouble. Ethan nodded. I will keep watch. No one will get in here without my knowing. Lyra tried to speak to Ethan. Her English was still weak, but she wanted to explain more about her child's needs. She took out a small notebook and pencil from her bag. She drew simple pictures, a star for her home, a little house for where they were now, and a bowl for food. Ethan looked at the drawings and smiled. He could see she was trying her best. Lyra drew a picture of Tala's body with colors and shapes. Megan looked at the drawings and nodded slowly. This helps, she said. We will try to make a special food for her, something her body can use. Ethan and Megan talked about where to find ingredients. The town was small, and the grocery store had only human food. Megan thought about the clinic's supplies and some plants she had seen growing near the river. She said she would try to make a mix that Tala could eat. While they talked, Lyra watched her daughter sleep. Tala's face was soft and peaceful. Lyra wished she could give her child a better life. She remembered the crash, the cold nights, and the hunger. She felt tears on her cheeks but did not cry. She needed to be strong. Suddenly, there was a noise outside the door. Ethan moved quickly and looked through the small window. 2 men in uniforms were walking toward the store. Ethan's heart raced. The mayor's men had come early. He closed the door quietly and whispered, They are here. Lyra held Tala tightly. Megan helped her sit down on the floor where she could hide behind a shelf. Ethan took a deep breath and opened the door slowly. The men looked around. We heard there are aliens inside, one said. We need to find them. Ethan smiled politely. No aliens here, just customers. The men did not look convinced. They began to search the store, moving shelves and looking behind boxes. Ethan stayed calm but watched every move. He was ready to protect Lyra and Tala. In the small room, Lyra tried to stay quiet. Tala stirred but did not wake. Lyra whispered softly to her child in her own language. She prayed that the men would not find them. After some time, the men stopped searching and left the store. Ethan closed the door and locked it. He breathed out slowly. That was close, he said. Megan came back to the room. We have to be more careful, she said. We cannot stay here much longer. Ethan nodded. I know a safe place. It is a small cabin outside town. No one goes there often. Lyra looked at Ethan with hope. She wanted to leave the store. She wanted to be safe. Ethan helped Lyra and Tala stand. They moved slowly so Tala would not get tired. Megan carried the small bag of supplies. They walked carefully through the quiet streets. The snow had stopped, but the ground was cold and wet. Lyra's feet hurt, but she did not complain. She only held Tala tightly and followed Ethan and Megan. The cabin was small but warm. Ethan had fixed it himself after a storm last year. There was a wood stove, a bed, and a small kitchen. It was not much, but it was private. Ethan built a fire in the stove, the room filled with warmth. Lyra sat with Tala near the fire and looked around. She felt safe for the first time in days. Megan unpacked the supplies. She mixed some plants with water and gave Tala a small spoonful. Tala's face wrinkled, but she swallowed it. Lyra watched carefully. This is good, Megan said. It will help her grow stronger. For the next days, Ethan, Megan, and Lyra worked together. Ethan brought food and supplies from the town. Megan took care of Tala and helped Lyra learn more English. Lyra taught them about her home and her people through drawings and stories. The three humans grew close to the alien mother and child. They learned that Lyra was brave and loving. Tala was quiet but strong in her own way, but danger was still near. The mayor's men kept asking questions. Some townspeople whispered rumors about aliens. Ethan knew they had to be careful and ready to protect Lyra and Tala. One night, as the fire crackled, Lyra looked at Ethan and Megan. She held Tala and smiled softly. Thank you, she said in broken English. Ethan smiled back. We will help you. You are not alone. Lyra closed her eyes and rested. She dreamed of the stars, of her home, and of a future where Tala could live in peace. For now, they had a safe place and friends who cared. And that was enough to keep hope alive. Lyra sat by the fire in the small cabin. Tala was sleeping peacefully in her arms. The warm light made her skin glow softly. Lyra felt tired but also hopeful. She was grateful for Ethan and Megan, who had helped them find this safe place. Ethan was outside, fixing the roof. The last storm had damaged it, and he wanted to make sure the cabin would keep them warm and dry. Megan was preparing food inside. She had mixed some plants and nutrients to help Tala grow stronger. The food was strange, but Tala had eaten it without trouble. Suddenly, there was a soft beep from Lyra's bag. She reached inside and pulled out her small communicator. She had almost forgotten about it. The device was old and damaged, but she still tried to use it. Lyra pressed a few buttons, and to her surprise, a faint light blinked on. She looked at Ethan and Megan, her eyes wide with hope. It works, she said quietly. Ethan came inside. What is it? He asked. Lyra showed them the device. I can send a signal. My people can find us, Megan smiled. That's good news. Lyra held Tala tightly and sat down. She pressed more buttons, trying to send a message. The communicator made soft sounds and a small screen showed blinking lights. Lyra hoped that her message would reach her people soon. For days, they waited. Ethan and Megan brought more food and supplies. They helped Lyra care for Tala. The child grew stronger each day. Her skin began to shine with color and her eyes opened wider. One evening, as the sun set, Ethan heard a strange sound outside. It was a soft hum like a machine. He looked out the window and saw a small ship landing near the cabin. The ship was silver and round with lights that glowed blue. Lyra's eyes filled with tears. They came, she whispered. Megan grabbed her bag and helped Lyra and Tala prepare to leave. The ship's door opened and two aliens stepped out. They looked like Lyra, with pale blue skin and soft eyes. They walked quickly to the cabin. The leader, a tall woman with kind eyes, spoke softly to Lyra. "We received your signal. We are here to help." Lyra hugged the woman. Tears ran down her cheeks. She was safe. The mayor's men had followed the ship's trail and arrived near the cabin. They wanted to stop the aliens. But the townspeople had gathered, watching with curiosity and hope. Many had heard the story of the mother and child. The mayor tried to block the way. "This is our town. You cannot bring aliens here," but the people shouted back. "They helped us see kindness. Let them go home. We support them." Ethan and Megan stood with Lara and the alien visitors. They faced the mayor together. The mayor saw the strength of the people and the goodwill in their eyes. He stepped back, defeated. The alien rescue team thanked Ethan, Megan, and the townspeople. They promised to keep peace and protect the town. Before leaving, Lyra gave Ethan a small gift. It was a glowing stone, a symbol of friendship from her people. Ethan smiled and accepted it. "Thank you." The ship lifted off, carrying Lyra, Tala, and the rescue team into the sky. The townspeople watched until the ship disappeared among the stars. Life in the town slowly returned to normal. But the story of the alien mother and child stayed in their hearts. Ethan and Megan were known as heroes. They had shown courage and kindness when it mattered most. Lyra and Tala were safe, and their hope for a better future was real. The stars above shone brightly, reminding everyone that kindness could reach across any distance. Lyra held Tala close as the small ship flew higher into the sky. The stars shone bright around them. Tala was awake now, her eyes wide with wonder at the glowing lights outside the window. Lyra smiled softly, feeling the warmth of hope growing. Inside her heart, Ethan and Megan stood near the landing site, watching the ship disappear into the night. The townspeople gathered around them, some with smiles, some with tears. The fear had changed into understanding. They had seen kindness and bravery, and that changed everything. Days passed, and the town slowly returned to its usual rhythm. But the story of Lyra and Tala was told again and again. It was a story about a mother's love, about strangers helping strangers, and about hope in hard times. Ethan returned to his work at the store, but he noticed something different. People came to the store not just for food, but to talk about friendship and trust. Megan continued her work at the clinic, helping all kinds of people, but she carried the memory of the alien child who had touched their lives. One morning, Ethan received a small package at the store. Inside was a glowing stone, the same kind Lyra had given him before she left. There was also a note written in simple English. "Thank you for your kindness. You showed us the true meaning of friendship. May we meet again among the stars?" Ethan held the stone carefully. It seemed to pulse with soft light. He smiled, knowing that he and the town had made a difference. Far away on a distant planet, Lyra and Tala returned home with the rescue team. Tala was stronger now, running and laughing as she played with other children. Lyra watched her daughter, feeling peace she had not known for a long time. The alien mother thought about Earth and the people who had helped them. She hoped one day their worlds would meet again, not with fear but with friendship. Back on Earth, the town began to change. People started to welcome others who were different. They remembered the story of Lyra and Tala and learned that kindness could break down walls. Ethan and Megan stayed close friends. They often talked about the strange and wonderful adventure they had shared. They knew they had done something important, not just saving a mother and child, but opening hearts. One clear night, Ethan looked up at the stars. He held the glowing stone in his hand and whispered, "Thank you." The stars seemed to shine brighter, as if answering him, and somewhere far away, Lyra and Tala looked up at the same sky, knowing that they were not alone. The end.